What up, y'all, and welcome to another TBT Masterclass. This is Masterclass number 15. If you don't know who I am, my returning members that are watching. So I'm here in my living room. I do weekly live streams every Wednesday around this time, 3:30 Central Time, and also do trumpet tutorials, practice tips, and play along exercises. So if you're interested in that, then please subscribe and hit that bell notification so you don't miss out on any new videos and when I go live, just like this. So if you're just joining me, or if you're joining me here, if you're new, don't hesitate to say hi, say what's up, where you're from, anything about yourself. I love seeing new faces and returning members. So today, what we're going to talk about really quickly, and what we're going to talk about is how to ingrain a scale. And what I like to think about is just four levels of ingraining a scale into your playing. So you don't have to think about it, especially for improvisation. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. And hopefully it's a quick video so I don't waste you guys' time. All right. So what up, Max, Gareth, Bazarine? What's up, everybody? So I'll also do a Q&A. Whatever questions you have, just pop them in the chat, please. Just whatever questions you have, whatever you're struggling with, and I'll try to help you as much as I can with whatever knowledge I have up in here. All right. So don't be afraid to ask any questions. All right. So the reason why I want to talk about this subject of ingraining a scale is because for improvisational purposes, there comes a point where you need to develop, or I'm just speak for myself. I need to develop more technique to express more thoughts or more musical ideas that I want to express. And the way to do that is not to think about the fundamentals like scales or arpeggios. So I taught a lesson last week, and the thing that I wanted to get across is, yeah, just focus on playing the fundamentals as much as you can so you don't think as much. Because the student I was teaching, he and I have a tendency to think way too much while you're improvising. So in order to get away from that is to master your fundamentals at a certain level so you don't have to think about it. All right. So the first level I'm gonna talk about, and then Alfred, I'll get to your question as soon as I finish this first thought. So the first level I want to talk about is just being able to play the scale from any note, from the lowest point up to your highest note that you can play. So let's talk about C major. C major, the lowest note that we can play in C major, so it sounds like C major, is G. So we want to start on our lowest note possible and then just be able to play C major. Something real simple. And then go up to our highest note that we can play. For me, I'm just gonna play G above the staff. So just one octave, G above the staff. And then go back down. So just be able to do that. Start on the scale on any note. So pick any note in that scale and just start on it. Ascending and descending. So that's level one. So let me get to Alfred and his question before I get to level two. And level one, you can also do intervals. So scales in thirds, scales in fourths. So this is just scale your movement, starting on any note, from your lowest note to your highest note. All right, Alfred asks, do I need to get a deeper trumpet mouthpiece? I have no idea if you need to or not. It depends on what you're going for? What do you want to achieve with a deeper mouthpiece? So maybe you give me a little bit more information about that in your situation. All right. So for level one, scale year. Start on any note from your lowest note to the highest note that you're able to play comfortably. All right, so that's level one. Level two is play some type of four note pattern. And so there's four ways to play a pattern. So here's one way. And this is just so let me say a hi to a few folks here. We have Nestor. Welcome to the stream. Email, what's up? All right, so there's four patterns. So here's four different shapes. X Robot, what's going on? You're a trumpeter too. Awesome. Welcome to the stream. So that's one pattern. So you go up a third and you go down stepwise until you hit your original note. And so that pattern is in the Clark studies. Well, kind of. But here's number two. Here's the second pattern. So you can continue that pattern up and start on any chord tone or start on any scale degree. So start on any scale degree and be able to play that pattern throughout the scale from your lowest note to your highest note. So that pattern you can see in the Clark studies. So that's this. So that's that, but it doesn't cover the entire range in that particular exercise. Now you can take an up an octave, but just continue the pattern throughout the scale. Now that's the second pattern. The third pattern is this. So you're going down a third from your original note. Ba da da da. So hitting C, B, A, C. Now let's continue that pattern on different scale degrees. I'm just gonna go up the scale. So I just continued that pattern up and down, be able to play that pattern. And there was a few blips and blops in there, but you just want to make sure it's just nice and easy where you don't have to think about it. X Robot says, I know my username is gay, it's okay to laugh. No, it's fine. You're okay. Young, I think it's Young. Young says, hi from Italy. Ready with your shush mute. Eric, what's going on? All right, so that's the third pattern. Now let's do another pattern. So we're going to go straight to the third. We're not going to go to it stepwise. We're going to go straight to it, third below the note. So those are the four patterns. Those are four patterns that that you can use that just goes throughout the scale, and you can go from your highest note, from your lowest note to your highest note. All right, so that's kind of, I like to call that like level 2, because I'm using what I already know and applying different patterns throughout the scale. And these are just different. I like to think about it like, if you know, like drummers, they have different drills that they do. They have different drills that they do, um, and I like to think of these as just drills that us horn players can do. All right, so level three. Now we get into arpeggios. So I like level 3 is more like triads. So can you play a triad on each scale degree? So in order to do that, you kind of have to know your thirds. So for C major, you have one. You're gonna do 1, 3, 5 on each scale degree. All right, so that's ascending. Now you can do that going down. So going all the way down to your lowest note. Now you can also do this not only starting on the root, but you can start on the fifth. So it'll sound like this. So just doing those type of patterns. Now you can also do um, not only ascending and all descending, but you can alternate. So go up one scale degree, go down the next scale degree. So it's going to sound like this. Uh, and going back down. And then you can reverse it. So you can reverse it, so you can start down one scale degree and go up the next scale degree. By the way, can you guys hear me? I know I probably should have said that before, but if you can hear me, put a number 1 in the chat. If you can't hear me, put a 0 in the chat. And Max, this is C major. C major. Cool, I'm getting yep, everybody can hear me. 1. Cool, great. I just had to make sure, because my internet has been real crazy this week because of all the rain and stuff. So awesome, thank you guys. All right, so now there's another direction. We can descend one and ascend the next. So like this. That's a little bit more difficult. Gotta practice that one. So yeah, C major, it's not so easy when you have to apply different different patterns to it. So there's tons of ways that you can practice C major and make it sound interesting. So that's one way. So those are 4 directions. So before I talked about 4 scale patterns. Now I'm talking about 4 different directions. So with arpeggios, you can go all ascending, you can go all descending. The third direction is ascend one and descend the other. And then the last direction is descend one and go up the other. And then ascend the entire thing. So just what I just showed you guys. All right, so let Let me see if there are any questions or comments, any new people saying what up. All right, so this is C major. I don't know if I said that before. Bazarine says, yep, near Southampton. Nice. Robot says, may you please make a masterclass on finding inspiration for licks and how to know when to use them? Definitely. I can probably give you a few tips right now. All right, so your question was how to find inspiration for licks. And I was just watching what's this guy's name? Saxophone player. I can't remember his name right now. But I was watching Chris Potter. Chris Potter, yes. No, Chris Potter? Yes, I think it was Chris Potter. Is he a whatever? So it was it was a saxophone player and a masterclass on improvisation. And what he was saying was that he doesn't really look for licks, but he just plays along with a recording, like like one of any artist that improvises. Bazarine says, great stuff, lots to practice for next week already. Yeah, it's tons to practice, even for C major. But he was saying that what he did was it's kind of like when we grow up, we don't when we grow up, as babies and toddlers, we learn how to talk just through trying to talk, just trying to imitate our parents. And so at first we babble, right? And then at a certain age, we get like one or two words that we can say. And we say that constantly. And then after that, we find more words in our vocabulary. And then just over time, just through the way we absorb our native language, we're able to speak. We're able to speak. And we what we don't do is we learn a word and we figure out, okay, this is a verb. How can I turn it into past tense? As a baby, we're not thinking about that stuff. As a 4-year-old, we're not thinking about context and all this other stuff that has to do with language. All we're worried about is getting the language, just imitating the language that our parents are, trying to talk to us with. So what he was trying to explain was that's the same thing he did with jazz improvisation and with learning the language. Is just listen to a recording so many times that you start to pick up some things and you start to figure out like some words, some licks that you can, not really licks, but just language that you can use. So what I would say to that is to find inspiration on licks, start listening to people that really inspire you. Listen to a whole bunch of musicians, not just trumpet players, but people that play improvised music, and figure out like what I've said this before. Find those players that resonate with you the most, where you get an emotional response, where when you hear something they play, you react, and it's like, ooh, that was really nice, that was really cool, that was really cool what they played. If you get that reaction, then that is telling you something about yourself and the way that you want to play. So I say listen to a good number of musicians that improvise, especially if you're trying to improvise jazz or whatever you're trying to do, and listen to those people and try to play along. Just try to play along and develop your ears so where you can mimic what they're doing. Now, when it comes to analyzing it and knowing where to put those things, you're going to have to know a little bit of theory and a little bit of the tune that you're working on. So say if you're working on the blues, you have to know the structure, like the chord structure, and how that relates to the overall key and relates to the chords that come after and before it. So when you find the lick that you like, you can kind of pinpoint like, okay, they played this right here. So what is that? Is that in the 4 chord? Is that in the 1 chord? And then try to figure out what are some other ways that you can play that. So that's just quick tips, just quick something that you can do right now today. Just start listening and see who's your favorite player depending on the emotional response that you get. All right. Okay. Any other questions? Kevin says, "Great stuff, Aaron. No problem." Bazarine said, "Okay, yeah, great stuff to practice." Max says, "Are you playing thirds up and down?" You can. So you can play thirds, um, and that could be part of level one because that's just scale you, right? It's smaller steps. Now those are thirds ascending. Now there are you can do thirds descending while still ascending, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna do descending thirds, but I'm still gonna ascend. So uh, so those are descending thirds, but I'm ascending the scale degrees. Now you can descend thirds and descend the scale. So this. So that's the lowest I can go on that scale. Now you can ascend. You do ascending thirds, but you can also go down as well. So starting on C, so I'm gonna go C, E, B, D, A, C, and so on and so forth. So so yeah, so you can do that. You can do different combinations of that. So I'm gonna do ascending thirds, both ascending and descending. Oh. So yeah, those are things that you can do. You can do descending thirds going up and down. So let me do that. Let me demonstrate that. So those are things that you can do. Okay? Descending thirds. Now, there's a fourth level to this, and the fourth level is playing diatonic seventh chords. So 1, 3, 5, 7 on each scale degree, and then doing the same directions. So you're gonna go all ascending, all descending, alternating, ascending and descending, and alternating, descending, ascending. So it might sound pretty crazy, but you don't have to do all these things in one practice session. So let me demonstrate that real quick. After, let's see, Gio says, "Hi, first time writing a note to you, long time watcher of your awesome videos. I love your basic skills. Keep up the great skills." Thanks, man. Um, Gio, will you ever have or invite a female trumpet player to join you for later videos? Oh, like do a collaboration? Definitely. If I don't really know anyone that would do about. I'll definitely, if you guys have any suggestions on who I should collaborate with, I'll love to do that for sure. For sure. Email says I froze. Am I good now? Just let me know. I'm telling you, this internet has been going crazy because of the rain and all this stuff. Max says, "Thank you, perfect. Thank you for the response. Awesome." Young says, Koprosh studies. I don't really know what that is. I'll probably have to look that up. Garrett says, "You froze for me too, but okay now." Awesome. I'm good now. See, this internet is crazy. All right, so let me demonstrate diatonic sevenths, and ascending. So I'm going to start from the lowest note and go to whatever whatever range that gets me to the top of the staff, G. So I'm going to start on our lowest note in C major, which is G. Okay, so you can do ascending, and then you can do the same thing descending. So you're gonna ascend the arpeggio, but you're gonna go down the scale. So all right, so that's all ascending. All right, so that's all ascending. So you can do also descending. So starting from the seventh and going down to the root. So I'm gonna start from the lowest note. So you can do that. So that's all a descending. All right, now you can do ascending one and descending the other. So I might have to slow this down a little bit. All right, so starting from my lowest note. See, I gotta slow it down. So now I'm gonna do, starting from A, ascend, and then keep going down, all the way down the scale. Okay, so that's ascending, descending. Okay? Now, the reverse of that will be descending, ascending. Now, to save you guys time, I just won't, I won't demonstrate that, but let me answer some questions. Mula, I think that's how you say your name. Can you tell me the notes of E major jazz scale? Of course. E major scale. Well, it's just the E major scale. So the notes are E, E, F sharp. So let me go this way. E, F sharp, F sharp, G sharp, G sharp, A, B, B, C sharp, C sharp, D sharp, D sharp, E. So F sharp is the lowest note that we can play in that scale. So what I would do the same thing I talked about throughout this video, but I will start on my lowest note and then go up to my highest note, whatever. That could be any note that I choose. But yeah, that's E major. Benjamin, can you move the camera down a touch so we can see your fingers? Let's see. Probably it's better if I go this way too. All right. So yeah, that's it. Those are the 4 levels. The first level is playing the scale on any note, just scale wise, starting from the lowest note to whatever your highest note is, and then to you can also do major thirds, or going up in thirds, or fourths, fifths, however you want to do that. That's a part of level one. Level two is doing a scale pattern. So something like this. So that's just a scale pattern going through the scale. And there's four of those. And if you missed it, you can just go back and rewind, and I talk about those four scale patterns. The third level is doing diatonic triads. So thirds stacked on top of each scale degree. So So you can do that, and then diatonic sevenths. So thirds stacked on top of each other, but there's four notes. So there's 1, 3, 5, and 7. So just stack thirds. There's 4 instead of 3. Okay, so those are the 4 levels, and you see I still have to practice those, right? Even on C major. So that's how I like to ingrain scales. So it just improves my technique and just makes me more confident in that scale and in that key. If I can just get around the scale just a little bit better, rather than just doing scale your motion, right? Just going up and down the scale, because that gets boring after a while, right? So with I know with trumpet it's a lot. It's difficult trying to do arpeggios, but those are the things that will really help with technique, by doing arpeggios and different scale, especially with finger dexterity. It'll help with doing scale patterns. All right, so those are the four things, and that's all that I have for you guys today. So if you have any questions on anything, I'll take a few minutes here and answer whatever questions you have. Tan POTGS says, hello TBT, my name is Paul and I am a fellow trumpet player. Just want to say thanks, and you put out quality content. Thank you so much. I'm really glad, Tan, that you think that, and you enjoy what I'm doing. Mulan says, can you tell me the notes of E major? I already did that. All right, so I'm just rereading comments at this point. Great advice, Gareth says. He says, thanks. No problem. Anyone from England watching this? Anyone from England watching this? That'd be cool. All right. Mullah says, how will you define a jazz scale? Oh, J4F is from England. Gareth is from England. Mullah says, how do you define a jazz scale? That's a good question. I don't really think of them as jazz scales. I just think of them as just scales. I think maybe melodic minor scales, melodic minor harmony is I guess you can consider a jazz scale or a jazz scale harmony. But yeah, I would say just see how many scales you can learn. Major scales: Aeolian minor, natural minor, harmonic minor, melodic minor, diminished, um, whole half, half whole, and yeah, those should be good. You should be good with at least those scales. Bebop scales, I guess that you can call that a jazz scale, but just learning scales. And for me, it's just like, how comfortable can I get in major scales, in minor scales, you know? Just I'm still trying to get really comfortable where I don't have to think about it. You know, this under my fingers at one level, but at certain levels, it's not under my fingers, as you can tell, like for different patterns. So there's always things you can do with a scale. Email says, do you have this lesson on paper or download? I actually do. I just wrote it out like a couple of days ago for one of my students, because it was something that I thought that would really help them just like visualize and just follow. And it's just in C major. I didn't make it in all the keys because that would be pointless. You can just apply the same principles to all 12 keys. So if you guys want that download, I could have it available for you guys if you want. So just let me know. Maybe I'll upload it and have it in the description box later after this live stream is over. But yeah, it's all printed out. It's all written up. Do you practice any fourth scale patterns? Fourth scale patterns exercise. Thanks a lot. What do you mean by that? Like just scales in fourths? Is that what you mean? Do you practice any fourth scale patterns exercises? Now, what I do is just you can go to a method book and they have exercises in there, and the more stuff that you have available, I say learn it. Like take any method book and the Arbans, and just hash out those scale exercises. Memorize them. It'll be best if you memorize them because then you're not reading. Because you want to internalize it not just by looking at it, but you want to internalize it just by feeling it and just knowing it. And knowing what that pattern is. Especially for improvisation. All right, but that was a good question. If you guys have any other questions, I'm all for it. Email says, I do. So you want the PDF? Sure, I'll print it up and not print it up, but I'll put it up and put it in the description box. But if you guys really like this video and like what I shared today, don't hesitate to hit that like button because it allows me to share this video with more people that want to learn just like you. So thanks again. Got another question. For me, the best method was to learn scales chromatically. Oh, you mean like going from one scale, so C and then C sharp? So is that what you mean? I do scales like that? Now you have to know the key signature in order to do that. Or just know the pattern of the scale that you're learning. You said sure. To be honest, I'm probably the youngest watching. I don't know if that's true. I mean, how old are you? I mean, there's tons of people I'm not gonna say tons of people. There's a wide variety of people that like to watch this live streaming, and so I don't know. 14? Anyone younger than 14 in this live stream? Garrett says you make this look easy, but I'm still finding this stuff hard, man. It's with practice. It's with practice. I swear. I'm not any more talented than the next person. I don't have any special gift or skills. I just work. I just practice. That's all that is. I swear to you, there's no secret sauce. And I don't if there is a secret sauce, I would love to, taste that sauce because um I would like to have practice be a little bit easier. But it's not. But it's all work. It's all work. Tons of work. Just got to put in that time. But I appreciate that. Thanks, Garrett. That's the goal, right? I want to make things feel and look easy. I don't want to make this thing look or sound any more difficult than it is, than it has to be. Blue Sky, hi from Sardinia, Italy. There's tons of you guys that come from Italy that watch this live stream. That's really interesting. Not a lot from the States though, which is interesting to me. But you guys are from all over, which is cool. Bazarine says, I've come from 40 years on guitar. Each fret always plays the same note, but on trumpet there are many notes for each position. Much harder and more physical, but a good challenge. Each fret, same note, but on trumpet. I mean, yeah. We have 3 valves and 7 different combinations. So this can be a wide variety, especially the higher you go, a higher variety of notes. So that's what makes it difficult, right? Because you can overshoot, you can undershoot a note. I know beginners have a hard time knowing like which note they're on. Like they may call this a D when it's actually a B flat or F. Garrett says maybe you appeal to the late night European. This for you guys, for a lot of the European folks, this is pretty late, like 9 or 10 or 11 for them. Worst things to be watching. Yeah, there are worse things. Young says something like 1-4-2. Oh, scales and fourths. It's been a while since I did that. I actually have to. Email says, what horn do you play? It's 10:20 there in London. Man, that's late. Thank you for you guys that are here late and just watching. Email says, what horn do you play? I play on I don't know if you can see this really well, but I play on a B&S Challenger 2 with the reverse lead pipe. So it's a lot. It's the weight of it is front heavy, but it's light. It's a light horn. So I like it. Yeah, it's nice. So it's a B&S. It's a B&S Challenger 2. What does reverse lead pipe mean again? Reverse lead pipe, for me, and to my understanding, you see how there's kind of like not a brace, but you see how the top part is different than this bottom part, like how it's constructed. For me, in my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not an equipment person. I'm not an equipment trumpet player. I just play these things. So to my understanding, a reverse lead pipe, and what that does is get rid of like this type of uh, configuration and allows more airflow to get through the horn, and so it creates a freer blow, so it's less resistance. To my knowledge and to my understanding, that's what I believe is a reverse lead pipe. Now, so hopefully that might be a right answer or it might be a wrong answer. But what I like about it is it's a lot free blowing. It's a lot more free blowing than other horns that I have that don't have this configuration. And and I like it. I like that it's a free blowing horn. There's not much resistance or back pressure. I like that aspect of this horn. Cause I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight my horn. I don't want to have to. Every note is a struggle. I don't want it to be like that. So I like that configuration. Quentin says, I missed the answer to how to ingrain a scale summary. A summary, anyone. So you can actually rewind it all the way back to when I first began and catch a little bit of it. What mouthpiece do I use? Right now I play on a Bach 3C for more solo playing, and for a particular sound that I'm looking for like a darker sound, a smoother sound, a less hard hitting, bright sound. But for lead playing, I don't have it on me. I use a John Faddis heavyweight. It's a Shilky John Faddis. Um, it's like a megatone type of mouthpiece. It's really thick and heavy, and it has the same rim feel as my 3C. That's why I like to use it and play it. And then also because of the weight and because of the shallower cup, I'm able to cut through the horn, cut through the band a lot easier with that, and play higher notes a little bit easier on that mouthpiece than this 3C. So I use those two mouthpieces. For me, I wish I could have a mouthpiece that I can do both. I can do have a darker sound if I want to, have a brighter and sound that cuts through when I want to. I really don't want to have to switch back and forth, because I was just on a gig, what was that, Sunday, and I was playing lead because I was the only trumpet player, and usually it's just one trumpet player on a gig like that. And I like when there's high hitting stuff, like high note stuff, and that I have to play, I like to use that mouthpiece. But when I solo, I don't really like to use that mouthpiece while I solo, because I have a different sound concept that I have in my ear. And so every time that I go to solo on that mouthpiece, it's like it's not the sound that I want. Cool. Cinder has a definition of what reverse lead pipe is. So let's see it. Let's read it. So a reverse lead pipe slides into the tuning slide, so there is no narrowing of a tube by the edge of the slide, just an expansion. Okay, so it slides over. Gotcha. See, I'm learning stuff. You guys teaching me. So it slides over the tube. Just an expansion. The result is slightly less resistance and elimination of any air pushback at the intersection of the lead pipe and the tuning slide. You were right. Thank you for answering the question. Nice. I was right to an extent. I actually didn't know that that's why it was called a reverse lead pipe, because it slides over. That makes sense though. It's reverse, so it's over instead of it sliding in. So like the bottom. So that makes sense. Thanks for that great Google search. J4F says the worst feeling is when you play Knight Templar on on white on Whit Friday, and the first village in the bridge house goes next and plays the exact same thing. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it, it's a pretty bad feeling. All right. Hey, I like to learn. I'm glad you brought that up for us to all learn what a reverse lead pipe is. So maybe I'll put that in the title as well. What is reverse lead pipe? Yeah, so yeah, I wish there was maybe a setup that I can do where I don't have to change mouthpieces, because I would rather just have one mouthpiece, one trumpet for everything. Maybe I'm asking for too much, or maybe that's just a lot of money to to hash out. If such a horn exists, please let me know if there is a horn like that. If you're watching the replay and you can tell me what, if there's a horn out there that exists like that, put that in the comments, and I'll love to check it out. Garrett says, have you tried a 5C? Never tried a 5C. Actually, that's a lie. I tried a Fox or a Folks or whatever it's called, FOXX 5C. I still have it. I don't remember what I liked about it or what I didn't like about it. Maybe the feel, but yeah, I have tried it, but it's been a long time. It's like high school. But but yeah, felt breathy. Yeah. Oh, so it's like it put more, like more air in your sound. Like I got some of those. I got some of that type of feeling. I played on a Hammond, and for some reason it made my sound just airier. Like it was like tons of like there was a airiness to my sound. It wasn't as full, so I understand that part. Like it seems breathier, and so with the 3C, the sound I'm able to get a fuller, more centered, bodied sound without much air. Fluffy, yeah, that's a good adjective. Fluffy, yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Fluffy. But yeah, you guys. So yesterday I'm submitted. I submitted a podcast. So I submitted a podcast to iTunes and Google Play, and I'm gonna start doing podcast episodes for you guys. So it's just an audio way for you guys to consume my content. And so because I know some of you guys that watch these live streams, you're kind of listening passively, like when you're walking or doing dishes or whatever. So I wanted to create a platform, a way for you guys to listen to my lessons, on the go. So I submitted a podcast, and I'll let you guys know when it's up and ready, and then yeah, we'll be getting it cracking with the podcast, with the videos. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. I'll put it on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Play. So those are the three platforms I'm going to put it on. So I'm working on that. I just worked on the first five episodes for the podcast. So I'll let you guys know when it's live, and then you guys can just go ahead and listen to it and tell me what you think. So I've been working on that, and yeah, it's a different platform. So Max Stern, I'm officially a fan. That's awesome, man. Thank you. Man, I just wish like this. I had this when I was just developing younger. I wish something existed just like this. So this is why I'm doing it, because I know someone out there is getting tons of value out of this. And man, if someone were to do this when I was growing up, I would eat that up, like for sure, for sure. J4F says underrated channel. I don't think it's underrated. I think it's just not a lot of people know about it yet. Of course, that's subjective or relative or whatever, because there's 6,000. I have nearly 7,000 subscribers, and that's crazy on its own. Like I can't even fit 7,000 people in the apartment. Like that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. 7,000 when you think about it. Even 19 folks here in the chat. Like that's a lot of people. That's like a classroom. Like I could for Thanksgiving and what was it, Thanksgiving? We had we had my family and my wife's family in here, and I think it was about 14 or 19 folks, and it was pretty tight. It was pretty tight here in the living room. So I can't even imagine having almost 7,000 people in one room or in one space that I can just talk to. So this is awesome. So I don't care about the numbers. I just care about giving you guys the best value that I can give. You know, anything that I know, I'll let you guys know. So yeah, I don't think it's underrated. And if you guys want to share this with other folks, and so I get more people, subscribers, that's fine too. But at the end of the day, it's just about helping that one person that needs that help, and giving that one person the knowledge and the information that they need. And I might have that. If I don't, then I'll figure it out, or bring somebody else on. Just like how I brought Chris Johnson, Professor Chris Johnson, onto and collaborated with him. So also, not only the podcast, but I'm working on a collaboration with um, person that if you're not subscribed to, you subscribe to today. His name is Chris Johnson. Oh, not Chris Johnson. So many Chris's. Chris Davis. Chris Davis. Chris. Chris Davis. We just collaborated on 2 new videos for you guys. So it's going to be a video on my channel and a video on his channel dealing with a topic that I think you guys will be interested in. So look out for that. It's all shot. We shot it on Monday. We did both videos, and we just gotta edit it and upload it. So I'm excited. I'm excited for those 2 videos because it's good information. So be on the lookout for those new videos. Cinder says, speaking of classroom, you mentioned you had a music education degree, I think. Do you have a day job? Playing trumpet is my day job. Playing trumpet, I'm also, I play trumpet for a church here in Chicago. It's New Life Covenant Southeast with Pastor John Hanna. And so I'm hired there to play trumpet, and I arrange for the horn section. So what I do is that every week we have new tunes, and most times those tunes don't have horn parts. So what I do is usually create horn parts for a 4-man horn group. So there's trumpet, 2 saxes, 1 on tenor, 1 on sax, and then a trombone player. So we do about 3 songs per week. Every week, new songs. Our library is pretty hefty now. I've been in it for almost a year. So yeah, that's what I do. I play trumpet for a living. I teach privately, and yeah, that's what I do. For a little bit, I also did. I recorded horn parts for people over the internet. So I use Fiverr.com to do that. So Fiverr.com. And what that is a website where people contact you and say, hey, I need a trumpet player or some horn parts for this song that I'm doing. And you charge a fee, you record it, and then you send it off to them. So that's one way. That's one way to get to make money as a freelance musician, is to record tracks for people, do freelance work. So like wedding bands, it's summertime, so wedding band season is here. So that's how I make money, is through recording, through jobbing, through wedding bands or corporate gigs. I teach privately. I also do clinics. So I go to high schools or middle schools to, teach a group, and I get paid for that. And yeah, and just other freelance work. Yeah, no problem. All right, y'all. So I think I'm gonna call it for this week's masterclass, TBT Masterclass number 15, how to how to ingrain a scale. If you missed it, just go ahead and just watch the beginning and the catch catch the replay. If you're And also, if you guys have any suggestions on what I should do for upcoming masterclasses, please let me know in the comments. Let me know. Write down what you're having trouble with or your questions. And better yet, I haven't had any submissions for if people wanted me to give you feedback. So I would still love to do that. So if you're interested in joining the masterclass group where you can submit your whatever you're working on and you need some feedback, go ahead and join the masterclass group. The instructions are in the description box, so just go ahead and follow the instructions for that, and you should be in there. It's been a while since I posted, like the last 2 weeks, but I'll get back on it. I know email was saying something about that, about email. And so if you're interested in that, please um, please, I would love to give you guys feedback on whatever you're having trouble with, so I can help you out as best as possible. So join that group, like this video, and share with folks that you think that would enjoy my content, enjoy the things that I have to teach. So I'm Aaron. If you guys don't know, I'm Aaron the Black Trumpeter, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, y'all. Take care.